right, riders.
Us three again.
We want you right fast. We want you right smart. We want you right safe. On the whistle.
4 of us just that'd be improbable. Be patient.
Let's go, Bobby. Let's go, Leo. Let's go, let's go.
All right, here we go. Driveway, April 30th, 2026. Category 2-3 race. This is Series 2, the second of a 6-week series. Or the second of a, yeah, I guess. We've had 7 races so far, but this is the 8th, but we do it in series, 6-week series. So this is the second race of the second series. There's David Wild, 169 in the red jersey ahead of me. Let's see how he takes this. So the major feature tonight is we have a little bit of wetness on the course. It had been raining, and actually there was a downpour 2:30, and this race starts at 5:30. We're doing championship loop counterclockwise, so we go down the corkscrew. When we go down, we go faster down the hill. And then we have this sweeping corner here that feels a little bit off camber, but you can see it's also a little bit wet down in that corner with some cones that aren't usually there. There aren't any puddles, so it had been dry enough to where there weren't any puddles left, and in fact, there weren't really any wet spots that I could see on most of the course. It had pretty dried out, and you can see this on the video. But there were a couple of notable places where there was a little bit of noticeable wetness that affected things. The first is coming around the sharpest corner of the race, which is this left-hander. As we cross the audience area. So this left-hander up here. So basically, right in the racing line, right there. I actually went outside of it a little bit that time, but really kind of right where you want to be in that racing line on the inside there. There was enough of an issue. There was enough of like a standing water situation. Not standing water, but it was wet. And certain people could feel it. You could see certain, and then here's another spot. Of course, that corner is not that bad, really. I mean, that's not much of a corner. It may look worse than it is on video. It's not. But later in the race, you'll see certain people who don't take that left-hander that I just talked about on the inside. They're taking it on the outside. So you just had to watch for that. So I got second place in this series, second place in the race last week. So I am second place in the series, obviously. And let's see. So that's like, I guess I had maybe 17 points. And then Grant Shackelford, who he and I were in the breakaway last week, where it was a great finish. If you want to go back and watch it, I would post it. He out-sprinted me to the line. It was close to a photo finish. So I think he would have gotten maybe like 20 points. I think maybe I got 17. And then we have a number of other players who are still, of course, very close. Oh, here, see, look at this. People are just splitting that wet spot on the corner. But despite the fact that it was raining most of, the day, well, it wasn't raining most of the day. We had that one period of pretty aggressive raining for about half an hour in Austin, and then it just blew through. But people showed up. Part of the reason is if you look at the temperature, 63 degrees is just, we never get that here at any point during driveway races, usually. So it feels really nice to be out here at 63 and not 93 or even 83. At least it does to me. And I had a couple people kind of talk about that. And in fact, this race, I want to say 30 or so guys, I kind of felt like this is a course where it's very easy for a field to split and or for a breakaway to go. We'll see if that happens, but I do think that the fact that it was not as hot as it can be was a factor in this race, allowing people to recover a little bit better than they normally would have. I also think that this is one of the stronger 2-3 fields that we had so far this year, at least that I've seen. Grant was here, the guy that won last week. We had a full complement of Moon Tower guys, so here's a Moon Tower racer right in front of me with this kind of light blue, white, and tan, I guess, jersey. That might be a meal. So they're looking to get their sprinter, Evan, who's been winning in the Cat 3 races, Cat 3-4 races prior to this series. They moved up to 2-3. I think he took maybe 4th last week, I want to say, 4th or 5th. So he's right in it. And we're keeping it fast. We're keeping it fast. It's pretty lined out so far the whole time. It did, to me, feel skittish this whole first, well, really the whole race, to be honest. But it felt like people were just not going all out, or I won't put it that way. I felt like this downhill corner here, we never really took it super aggressively. It was always, and you can see it here, there are like 3 or 4 different lines people are taking. Maybe that's just my impression, but I just felt like we never really just committed to taking that corner in a normal way in this race, especially compared to the P12 race that I did after this one. Couple of night owls there, 137, 132. 132 I know is Gerardo. 137 is Matt Kudno. So those are 2 very strong riders who are looking for breakaways, and or they'll look to position their sprinters. Ben Soder being one of their big sprinters. Here we go. It might have been that, I'm not sure, one of those times where I took that corner, I don't know if it was psychological or not, but I did feel that I maybe lost my back wheel a tiny bit, which had me more careful the rest of the race going in there, but I didn't think it was a huge deal. You just had to either commit to the inside or take that wide outside line. I think this is Isaac from Shore Shot in front of me at one. Oh no, who is this? $135. No, that is Isaac. $235. So I noticed actually in this video, as I'm watching, kind of coming around the corner. No, that's not Isaac. That's the guy. 235 is Travis Turner. I don't know who that is in front of me. Anyway, I noticed, speaking to how fast I was coming down through that fast corner and coming back up the hill, and then, I was doing 600-700 watts to stay on the group, which means it was fast. It wasn't like I was just, kind of, you always have to put in a little bit of power at the bottom of the hill, but, you'd like to keep it sort of 500 and below. Just kind of ease your way up. But yeah, the guys on the front were pushing it. Oh, maybe that was the corner where I slipped. It did look a little funny there. So this was, coming out of this turn, of course, is the other place where you kind of have to punch it. So the way this course can work to be attritional is that, it's only a 2-minute lap. And if you're, so you get a, if you're pushing a little bit here, not really, but you're gaining speed down the hill, this is where ideally you can recover. But then, you sweep around this corner, and generally speaking, you are doing some watts up the hill. If the guys on the front have kept it fast enough. So this is a relatively sustained effort up the hill. And then a lot of times there's actually a headwind as you make this kind of rounder to the left here. It wasn't really so much last night, Thursday night, so it wasn't too bad. But anyway, theoretically you have that effort up the hill and then kind of around the corner, then you get another little break as you set up for these corners. But you've got to accelerate out of this corner, especially if you're toward the back. You kind of get the accordion effect. So we're slowed down here. Here's I'm taking this outside line. 23. Looks like we went down to 23 miles an hour at one point. And then we're up to 600 watts. Come out of here, sprint out of it. So I guess. Oh, there's Michael. I think it's Michael in front of me adjusting. I've seen him adjust his shoes quite a bit. So I don't know what he's got going on there. Yeah, see, there he does it again. Both sides. So yeah, punch it up the hill, kind of a sustained effort, a little bit of a break, then around the corner, punch it out to the start-finish line. If the race stays fast, it's a race where, it's not the hardest course we do here, but it's, well, it actually might be one of the harder courses we do at driveway. I think it's actually probably harder if you do it the other way, because the hill is a little bit steeper and sharper when you go up. And this hill is just not quite as steep. It's more like a, I don't know if it's 4 or 5% at the max, but it's you can kind of coast up. So far in this race, I haven't done anything, right? And but actually, I've been wanting to get up closer to the front. For a lot of this race, it's just been fast, and because I feel like it might be sort of just as. I almost feel like you could be kind of off the front here, and you're going to be doing work, but it actually wouldn't be too bad because you could take the lines that you wanted to take, and that would be an advantage, especially with some of these puddles. So there's David Wild in the red there. He's not comfortable taking that inside line at all. You can tell. I don't really know what was going on sort of off the front there. You know, it didn't look like we were kind of all together most of the time. Looked like a few little attacks, but it was sort of consistently fast. Somebody coming on the outside there. Who are you? Stav Belkin. What if his brother is Gnome? I think there's another Belkin. Yeah, it's fast up there. Yeah. A couple guys trying to break away. Like I said, I felt like this field was maybe the strongest. Well, I guess we've only had 2 of these 2-3 races, but actually we did have 1 or 2, a couple of 2-3 races at the very beginning of the year for Pace Bend. And this race is certainly much stronger and deeper than those were. Pink. Looks like a little breakaway going there. We averaged actually, don't take that corner well in here. You have to put some power to them. We averaged close to 27 miles per hour today. Or at least, you know, this is yesterday. Well, we definitely did 26 and a half. I think it was like high 26s. Which, with the sort of skittishness around the corners, and this course, you know, is relatively punchy. It's pretty fast. That's pretty fast to average, like, say 26.7, 26.8, something like that. We did Grand Prix loop last week, and I think what's that? I mean, that's a much faster course. I think we probably averaged the same speed. No, we were a little faster. We were 27 plus in Grand Prix loop, but still. So I think Grant Shackelford just went off the front, so he's a driveway rider, driveway Devo rider. So that gray and orange jersey right there, 109 to the right, he's a teammate. And I would expect that at this point, most people know that Grant is a threat because he won the first race. So they are chasing him down. You can kind of see that up there. That was a good move from Grant. I actually wanted that to be... I wanted that move for myself. I wasn't in kind of position to do it. But this whole time, as he's up there riding, I'm thinking, like, I just want to be up there with him. Just like last week, Grant. I think he's up there. Maybe he is. Maybe he is. I don't know. I found that this kind of happened to me a lot. I would sort of get a little bit of speed coming up the hill, and I'd like be on the wrong side, or I'd like pass, 5 or 6 riders, but not like past 15, which is, or like, most of the group is what I needed to do to kind of go off and on my own and actually put in a real attack. So some of that's luck, a lot of that's skill, a lot of that's just making sure that you're in the right position, you're on the right side of the road, meaning the not necessarily right or left, but the right side, whichever side is going to open up. Ooh, somebody slowed down there. Yeah, we're 20 minutes in this race, and I have not sniffed the front. I am getting impatient. Because actually, I knew pretty quickly today, I actually had good legs today. I knew when I was going up the hill first few times, putting on some power, I just felt like I had I wasn't feeling it build up in my legs like I would sort of on a quote-unquote normal day. So I wanted to use my legs. Let's see if I can. Alright, here we go. So even here, I followed until I didn't. It would have been a lot nicer to get up into that group of 4 right away. Didn't quite have the runs, kind of nice ideal runs that I would normally have. Somebody was like shouting really loudly every so often in the field. I think they were marking out certain riders. I don't know if he was marking on me there or if he was marking on somebody else. But it was like this really loud. I'm all for like shouting it out or whatever. I think he scared me. Like I think I like did a double take when he shouted there. This is nice. I'm finally toward the front. Can take my own line around that corner. Keep its speed high, 27, 28 miles an hour. Perfect. I've got this guy in front of me. Oh, I think he does something a little weird here. So I'm following him. I mean, if he had flicked me through, I would have flicked through. But we're like weaving, right? I don't know what we were doing. And he's still like, it looks to me like he's going pretty fast. Maybe he was like sort of, I don't know. I don't know what he was doing. That was funny. Who is that? 2 something. Violet Crown. Oh, maybe Ethan Houston. Ethan. Alright. Alright, so we got a nice little break up here. Which is represented by a driveway, by a moon tower, by Violet Crown, and by a meteor. Which is great. Now, I think I'm probably bringing back some of the field here. Not sure. I feel like I'm a horse that's just been let out of the barn, I think, here, and I'm just happy to be out front, clean air. Let's see if we can create something, even though it certainly wasn't a great move. See what happens here. I'm not sure. I'm sure I look back here. Here we go. Alright, so I flicked. So I think that's Evan from Moon Towers, their sprinter. We got Willie here, who's actually a Masters racer. I know him very well, so he'll work. I think the field had been at least stretched out there. So maybe these guys are continuing to stretch it. So he flicks. And I want to keep the pace high. Again, I just feel like I've got legs to use. I want to use them. So here comes the field. Let's see how David takes this corner here. He's still taking the inside. Outside, I mean. No, he went on the inside this time. There's an ATP rider in front of me. They're one of the, I don't think one of their riders, Eduardo. He took third place last week. So this might be Eduardo in front of me. He's a excellent sprinter. And see, there it is again. I'm like, sort of looking to follow a move and just could not really follow anything with any kind of momentum. And I was like, oh, okay, now we go. Great. It's not like I have a huge ability to sort of snap away at any point in time. Certainly not when somebody's on my wheel. So I love to carry momentum during attack. And I don't really think I'm accomplishing much here. I don't know that I have a gap. I don't. I think I just flagged somebody. Yeah. So, I mean, I just effectively helped to pull back these three, which I guess is fine, but wasn't really what I would want to be doing. Oh, I think I attack here again. I just felt good up this hill. This hill is, it suits me as a rider. I'm a bigger rider, 180 pounds, and I like to stand on the pedals when I can. So you don't want to be standing whenever you're going, say, like 30 miles an hour. But if you're going, but if you can go up like a shallow incline, 3-4%, you can stand, and I think that works out pretty well for me. So here's Brian in front of me. I think we had a little gap here. Brian from what's Red River Racing, I think. So it looks like we might have a little something going here. The three of us. I'm not sure who this guy in the black is. Maybe it might be Juan. See, look, you can tell. I mean, that wasn't really commitment to that corner. I think Brian just said they're on. Meaning the field. There they are. Willie leading the way. Meteor rider. Master rider. Pretty good speed up here right now. This guy in the purple keeps looking back. He wants to attack. Maybe. Oh yeah, okay. Nah, I don't know what that was. He baited me. So right there, I actually intentionally sort of slowed through that corner with the idea that if everybody else is going slow behind me, then we all have to kind of accelerate to the same amount. Now, of course, the guys in the back don't necessarily have to because they're going to have just, the field to line out and that sort of thing. So we did get a gap here, me and this guy in the purple. I think, it was 5-10 meters, something like that, from that little bit. But he was, I think he even said he said something like, "No, I can't." He said something like that. So then Grant goes, which is a really good move by him. And actually, I couldn't follow that. I was. It was too much for me to accelerate after that push up the hill. So now ATP helps because they don't want Grant to ride away. There are less than 10 minutes left in this race at this point, so this is crunch time. I am not working overly hard here. Partly because I'm tired. And partly, I think, probably because I'm thinking plenty of you guys left in this race to pull this field together or chase down one rider. I hear the driveway guys, 2 of them up here toward the front. That's smart. They're kind of blocking. Oof. Looks like the ATP guy almost went on the grass there. So I think I was looking second half of this race. I normalized, I don't know, what was it, like 400? I think that's about right. I think I averaged 360 the last 20 minutes. So it was good effort. Again, helps with this weather. I mean, I find you're gonna lose whenever it's 90 degrees out here. You lose like 5% of your power. I mean, at least I do. I don't. It's not, you know. Those numbers do drop. So we just had 3 to go. I think that we're 3 to go right now. I would love to put in a move here at some point somehow. Let's see if I do. So we kind of got a little move off the front, 4 guys or so. Following Leo here from Violet Crown here, 230 in the purple. Come on, Leo. Yes, finally I get a run up this hill. Somebody accelerates. Actually, I remember this. This was a great little pull by him. He actually kind of gaps me as we're going up this hill. I'm like, jeez, dude. Yeah, here it is. He's still going. I'm having trouble staying on his wheel. But anyway, he knew that these guys up front weren't playing around. This was a good mix of teammates and strong guys who, I mean, a good mix of teams and strong guys. This guy in the black, I think, took 3rd. He's a British kid. I think if it's the same guy I'm thinking of last year, he's like a powerhouse. He's a powerhouse rider, you know. He's a guy who can, you know, he'll do 400 or 500 watts for a few minutes or more. So the funny thing is at this point is that our little group here actually, I mean, it's actually a group of, they're probably, you know, say 3 or 4 guys behind me. So there's maybe 10-ish, maybe slightly more of us here. We actually have a gap. There's a field split right now. And I found this to be sort of like a great move, but also a frustrating one. Because as you can see just there, we slowed down. It was like there wasn't the commitment through and down the hill. And now, you know, are we really committed through this corner? We're doing okay. Then it was like, I just felt like this move guys should have been pushing it. Here it is again, like kind of guy in front's kind of pulling off. What are we doing? Just kind of roll through, and well, everybody has different motivations and has different ways they want to win the race. To me, I was like, let's just make sure that the guys in the field don't come back, and then like the 10 of us. And basically, well, my idea is let's keep it hard in this group, and then people start, even in the group, start to get a little bit tired, and then the last lap and a half or so, that's where we are right now. We're like in the second to last lap. We can start to have little splits in this group to where I don't have to sprint in the finish, because I don't want to go to a sprint with 10 guys in a group coming around this final corner. But the guys in this group, I think many of them do want to come to that sprint. At least some of them do. And so I think they played it very well for themselves. So I want to go. I'm looking to somehow, where am I going? How do I go somewhere? Where do I go? Shut the door. It's here. I mean, I just cannot find anywhere to go. Oh, that was frustrating. Because I had the legs to do something that last. Because at this point, we're less than 90 seconds to the finish line. And, you know, if you make it to that final corner, or kind of that final W corner in front, you're probably going to get at least third, or even someone with my sprint. So, again, I cannot find a line. I could not find a line. Somebody's yelling. I think they're probably yelling at me, or maybe the guy behind me. They said, pedal. It's just like, yeah, I mean, dude. I am not as an aggressive a racer as some of these other guys. And then I'm like, well, can I like maybe go up on the outside here and like do something? And then I'm just like, you know, again, I'm gonna have to chop somebody, and it's just not worth it to me. But anyway, so I think, who we have on front? Is that David Wild on front? Who is that? No, that's the Violet Crown guy. Oh, there, the driveway guy gets really wide there. I think that's Travis. Takes Travis really wide. Travis and I went to break last week. So anyway, winner ended up being Evan from Moon Tower. And good on him. He's now the leader in the series. Who got second? Well, anyway. See you next week, y'all.